Right on my board, but I want to see my screen. What do you say? What do you say?
Cloning accounts or whatever. Hacking it.
That's all they know how to do is that computer techie stuff. Maybe in their little offices and their little places hijacking everybody's stuff. Shit. Amor's. I had to bring my board. I had to buy a board rather. Smaller board that I didn't have to carry all over the place. Because I'm going to have to get a bigger bag. One of those rolly bags. I don't have no earrings on my ears. That wasn't intended. That was not intended. Islam. I got my stand, so I'm a little happy about that. And I got my board. I have my little trusty dandy board today. Now, I'm gonna have to switch this board around, switch this camera around. So I'm not gonna be able to see who comes in and all this other lovely stuff. Aneb's gonna be able to tell me, because instead of sitting behind his camera, he gonna sit behind this camera and let me know what people are saying. He doesn't understand that I have to flip this around so you can see me, or so you can see the board that I'm gonna have, so you can see the board. He doesn't realize I gotta flip it around, so he's not understanding what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got it.
But the topic of today's discussion is what? What's the topic? Because like I said, it doesn't let me see anything, so I'm gonna go onto my phone and find out what's the topic of today by going on Facebook. And please, 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 Islam, share. Get a bigger bag. This broadcast, I'm gonna go share it in the groups. All right, so share it. But the topic of discussion is what? Marianne Deborah Williamson. The Moors do not accept your apology, as you know full well that you are not a white American, in parentheses. You represent no country, but you do know what your ancestors have done and what you continue to do while claiming you are in favor of reparations, right? The Moors will and are governing here at Northwest Amexem, North America, the North Gate, and all resources, both corporeal and incorporeal, have already been revenued back to the true Americans, which are the Moorish American nationals. When you and any and all other Albions receive lawful commands and notifications to vacate our property and land, I suggest you move immediately. Notice to agent is notice to principal, notice to principal is notice to agent. I said this because this was in reference to what she said. And this is why I also leaned Marianne Deborah Wilson. That lien can be found in the file section, and I'm going to paraphrase exactly what she said. And then I'm going to turn this around because I'm going to be writing on the board. Now, the document should be Moorish American Consulate record number. Can't be too far down because I just completed it yesterday and uploaded it and sent it out yesterday. I think it was Friday, actually. So I'm going to go to the file section because I have everything downloaded. All right. Oh, it's all in alphabetical order, I'm assuming. Is it all in alphabetical order, y'all? 74, 75, 76, 78. Where's the lien? Because I want to read a specific part in it to you today. So I'm going to have to just go find my post. This is another reason why I don't really want a lot of people posting just random things in the groups, because we need to leave space. Oh gosh, who posted this? Y'all gonna stop playing with me. Delise. Don't do that. Somebody snuck in a video from somebody. I'm not letting any of those videos sneak in. Islam wars. So does anybody have that information? Because I'm looking on it on this feed, and it's escaping me because people be posting so much stuff in the group. So I'm looking for the post. I'm not playing with y'all. I'm gonna go to Scrib because it's taking a little too long to find it in there. So I'm gonna go to my Scrib account where I upload all the lawful documents, and I'm looking for it specifically because I want to read. I want to read to you what she said. She's been going all around to different, because she's a Christian, so she's been going all around to different Christian churches at Northwest of Exum, televised, and also she's also a so-called candidate in the so-called 2020 election of the Service Corporation as well. So why does it always take hard to find stuff? I'll search. Give me a second. I know I downloaded it. I downloaded it. Can somebody bring up that document? You ready? You're making your brain smoothie? For some reason, why can't I find my own stuff? The things that I uploaded. Why can't I find my own stuff yet? I can find it on the home computer with no problem. I can find it on the home computer. Look in the file section. I downloaded it, uploaded it just the other day to the file section, and now all of a sudden I'm not finding anything. That's why I be telling y'all not to download nothing on my my file section. You gotta go down to the public notice section. So let's see if I can find it, since I have to look for it. Since I have to look for it. It's interesting. Y'all gonna make me crack open my laptop? Nobody's gonna find it. That's why I don't be liking y'all. Y'all be making me mad. Y'all hope y'all know that. I'm looking for a file in the file section, and nobody's telling me nothing. Who's telling? Islam beloved. Islam, take it. Thank you, Ronald, because I'm looking for it, and I'm mad that it's not. It shouldn't be buried. It should not be buried. Who's this? Did you find it? Or you in La La Land too? You and Annette both in La La Land.
What was I looking for?
Apparently nothing.
I didn't know what you were looking for.
Cause you ain't listening.
I was my Facebook is all messed up. I gotta figure out how to get in and shut it down. This is ridiculous.
Apparently you ain't gonna be able to get into it. Does anybody have the document? Is this it? Nope. Wait a minute, is this it? 382. Thank you, Rodney. I know somebody listens. Pays attention. I'm gonna grind y'all up. Oh, found it. Thank you. You see how crazy I had to do a search, and now I got the document. Thank you, Islam. So now, and I only wanted it to read the section, which was a transcription of her apology. But like I said, she's going all around Northwest New Mexico to all these different churches, And this is what she's getting all of the, she called them white Americans, which is partly why she was leaned, because they are not American and they're not white. And you can't sit here and paint a narrative that is false. Not anymore. Alright. So why isn't it letting me? It's already installed. Alright, download it. No, I don't want to download it. It is taking me through some commotions. I'm going to have to look at this in the small screen. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Alright. So here we go. This is the apology. It's called Please Forgive Us. This is what the apology is called. Please forgive us. And this is Marianne Deborah Williamson. And I want you to really listen to what I'm saying and really know what it is that I'm saying. All right? And posts your comments, your questions, as well as, you know, whatever comes to your mind. Please forgive us. Okay, and when this was a video, and she was walking around telling all the Albions that were calling themselves white Americans, telling them all to walk around the so-called church that they were in and go apologize to an Asiatic that was there, who she called an African American, and then at one instance called them a black person. Okay? So they were all in these so-called churches that she goes around and has these public displays of, please forgive us. And somebody might want to look up the etymology on forgive. And please, if I had my Black's Law, I would do it. But I don't have my Black's Law. So if you have Black's Law, did you bring your Black's Law? Do you have the ability to look up Black's Law 4th edition and look up please? Or Edamon.com and look up please forgive us.
P-L-E-A-S?
Yeah, please. P-L-E-A-S-E.
Oh, please.
Yes, please. And then it was please forgive us. And we know us is a synonym. Is it a synonym or acronym for either? It could be either mean United States, unum sanctum. It could mean a multitude of things. Please forgive us. So now I'm going to read it. As I speak, I'm going to ask the white Americans in the room to please repeat after me. This was Marianne, Deborah Williamson. On behalf of myself and on behalf of my country, to you and all African Americans from the beginning of our nation's history, and on behalf of my country, to you and to all, read that again. To you and all Americans from the beginning of our nation's history, in honor of your ancestors, and on behalf of your children, please hear this from my heart. I apologize. Please forgive us. With this prayer, I acknowledge the depth of evils that have been perpetrated against black people in America, from slavery to lynches to white supremacy laws to the denial of voting rights, to all the ways by large, both large and small, all the evil, all of them evil, all of them wrong. For all the oppressions and all of the injustices, please forgive me. I apologize. For the denial of civil rights, for inequalities in criminal justice, to any instances of police brutality, to the denial of opportunity, for economic injustices, for any ways that a racial element has played into the perpetration of injustices, I apologize. Please forgive me. Marianne Deborah Williamson led this similar healing sessions, they're called healing sessions, across this country. She argues that national apology and reparations are necessary to heal the country. Emancipation Proclamation, the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, a presidential pen, and a constitutional amendment could end the evil institutions. Racism didn't end. The institution was a manifestation of that atonement. So that's why she was lame. She was laying for that document that, oh, Islam.
Look.
Hey, let me see the back of your shirt. Oh, where's my shirt? No, you gotta come behind here. You gotta show the world. You gotta show the
Oh
world.
yeah, I missed that
shirt.
meeting last night.
Look, he always sidebarring. Always sidebarring.
No.
Islam,
I'm sorry.
Islam, he gonna show the shirt. Oh goodness, we backwards. Once I flip the camera around, you'll see the shirt in its true form. So this is the front of the shirt, and the back of the shirt is Surety and peace officers. Islam, thank you, Tahir. Where's everybody else at? You can't. You was walking fast. You done left them.
No, I actually stopped.
Yeah.
What's in there?
They disappeared on me.
They disappeared on you.
I called.
Where are you
Oh
going?
yeah, if you want to meet today, we can still meet tomorrow. We can meet today too if you want. I'm downtown. I'm at a convention.
I found it, Paris. I found it. So they left you. What you get to eat? How y'all gonna come up here eating food? That's crazy. I'm just freaking hungry. We was just reading the apology from Marianne, Deborah, Williamson. And we're going to continue because we're not done, okay? And we're going to dissect her freaking apology, y'all. And y'all should be mad about what she said, how she said it, and where she said it at.
Thanks for your help on that, because I used to. Now I got.
If you want, are you really doing that? Where you, you have to download that lean. It's a good example on different leans that you need to be learning how to do. But I put the quote in the lean because when Amor actually sent me that recording, it was like a 2-3 minute recording. When she sent me that recording, I was quite enraged, and we're going to just dissect it, right? Because what are you apologizing for? What's the apology for? Because the apology is to admit recognition for what you're doing, but you can't do it halfway. I'm going to keep this PG, y'all. You can't do it halfway. You have to do it all the way, right? And there was an Albion's son like 3 years ago who did a video like, we got to give it back. We got to give everything back. We don't own anything. He was kind of appealing to his people. Everybody got their shirts on, but me. I'm a little swole. Islam. Hi, Tep2. How are you? Hi. How are you? You can't sit nowhere near Anab. Because I told Anab that I'm going to bust his butt. I'm going to bust his butt because his cane been hurting. Got my baby hurting.
That little light thing.
That little light thing. Like, Titan. Islam. So, let's go. Islam, when you're finished, I need your input. Really? No, Ronald. No, Ronald. Anyway, let's get back to... He always puts this thing where he does all of this to me.
Oh boy, here we go.
What you want me to move over? Maybe I should move over this way. Maybe I should move this around so y'all can actually see the flag. Even though the position, the flag in the... I'm trying. And Nab be doing this to me.
That Tep2 brought the wind with him.
They bought the wind with them? Well, shucks, it was hot, so I'm happy about that.
Came with the ancestors.
Okay, all right. Anyway, so yes, that was the document. I want to analyze it because you should be outraged. And Asiatic, stop looking for the people that have been human trafficking you. Stop looking for them to sit here and give you anything. The only thing they can do is get out the way as we revenue and reset our nation. Islam? Damn, I don't want to push it. Why we had kick some dirt under there? One table that keep moving. There we go. That keep moving. Anyway, here we go. It keeps going back in. So let's dissect this document. And it's in conjunction with their human trafficking you. And somebody, do we got our Black's Law? You bought 6? Oh, because it's 2, because it's smaller.
Keep 16 on.
It's lame. I got my shirt. I got my. I put my shirt on. I put my shirt on. It's hot. No, I'm not. Look, this is where it is. The peace officer, you can't see it because it's backwards. I have to turn the camera around. Once I start writing, I'm gonna turn it around. And then on this side you have the star, right? And then on the arms, we're gonna put the seal on one arm. The seal's gonna be on this arm. And then we're gonna have the logo, the consulate logo on this side. So, So that's what's coming down. How's the sister doing?
Do y'all know the history of the Sharifian? The history of the Sharifian while you're on that subject? Because I couldn't find any more information, but I got some history.
We're on stuff.
I know you
We're
big
on
baller.
stuff. Pay attention, tiger. I'm gonna tiger your ass. Anyway, I'm gonna mess you up.
If you're talking about Sharifian, I might as well do some history while
It
we're
is long. So let's get to. Alright, it's hot, man. It's like blazing. Alright. So let's pick apart this apology that the Albions think they're gonna do in their churches. The very institution that started the bull, okay? They're gonna do it in the church they started with the misdeception of our people in the Christian churches, right? Because at one point you had no choice to go. Today everybody makes a choice to go into that venue. So the first section, let's take the first section. As I speak, I'm going to ask the white Americans in this room to please repeat after me. On behalf of myself and on behalf of my country, to you and to all African Americans from the beginning of our nation's history, in honor of your ancestors and on behalf of your children, please hear me from my heart. I apologize. Now, she made a lot of fraudulent claims, and this is the rebuttal of those fraudulent claims. 1, she's not white. 2, she's not American. And 3, she speaks for no country. Okay? She's not white, she's not American, and she has no country to speak for. So those are 3 things that we need to recognize. She is an Albion alien immigrant, illegal immigrant at this point. And she's claiming to want to give you reparations, which is what? What is the definition of reparations?
Let's look it up. Let's look it up. To repair.
Because white, do the etymology family or Moors. White is a status reserved for nobility. White is a status reserved for nobility. White is a status reserved for nobility. That's you, that's me.
It's not Black's Law, though.
An American is a copper-colored indigenous original inhabitants of the land when they came here. So those 2 things, to be white and to be an American, is to be a Moorish American national. Okay? So that was fraud number 1, 2, and 3. To claim she has a country she speaks for. She has no country she speaks for. She's an illegal immigrant, an alien, right? What else did she say in that first section? She called you an African American. You're an American, but you're not African, because that title doesn't represent the Asiatic people either. Even if you want to call yourself African, if you think you belong to an African nation, you are owned as corporate wards under a war name of the Romans under Queen Elizabeth. You're not African, you're Moors, whether you're on this continent or on the other continent, both which were conjoined at one point, which represented a Mexum, ancient Mexum. We got to get out of our feelings, and we got to declare and proclaim our nationality. So in that first sentence, which is why her lien was processed and sent, and she is recorded under Moorish American Consulate number MACN-R followed by 6 zeros 382. 382.
Reparations.
The second, you got the definition of reparations? What does it say? You want me to?
Yes. Reparations is Black's Law Dictionary.
They can't hear you. Give it here. Yeah.
To your right. To your right. Always to your right.
Okay. Reparations. She's saying she wants to get reparations. This is from the Black's Law 6th edition. So if you're at your computer and you have your 4th edition, please post the 4th editions to make sure it's in harmony with the 6th. Okay? So reparations. The act of making amends for a wrong. Reparations is the act of making amends for a wrong. Compensation for an injury or wrong. For wartime damages or breach of international obligations. I'm going to read that again. Reparation is the act of making amends for a wrong. Compensation for an injury or a wrong. For war, especially, it says especially, y'all. For wartime damages or breach of international obligations. What international obligations did they breach? They broke the treaty. What else did they break, y'all? They broke everything. I mean, you might as well just say they broke everything, huh? Declaration of Independence. They broke the Declaration of Independence, which is where they said what? The Declaration. Huh? Yeah, they pledged what? They pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their honor. To who? Who they do that to? The Aboriginal or the original indigenous inhabitants of North America, the North Gate, right? So they want to make amends for one warring against us. And how have they been warring against us?
Everything.
Psychological.
There we go. You said it and ain't even got to freaking say no more. And almost everything they did and still do. It's not like it stopped, y'all. Reparations, you want to give reparations for injuries that you're continuing to do today. Every day. In the corporations you work for every day, you are committing crimes. But you want to give reparations. How are you going to give reparations? What's going to be the medium of exchange? What can be the medium of exchange?
Restore.
Their heads.
Restore, lawful tender.
Gold and silver.
You always going, I'm going to hit you with this book. And that be tripping. Say it again. I'm going to hit you. You lucky this ain't the 4th edition. That's all I could say. But I'll hit it as if it is the 4th edition. So reparations is to fix a wrong. Right? So they want to make compensation. They're saying they want to give compensation. This is what she's saying. And don't think she speaks for herself. Just know she has been put in that place to see what not only the Asiatics that think that they're Negro, colored, and black, who is the audience in a Christian church and the only audience in there. Because once you declare and proclaim your nationality, you realize those institutions are spy centers and they're there to keep you in blind obedience while they're raping you.
Stuck in a spell.
Literally. All right. Because I don't know about you, but when I read that, I was like, I went in front of my computer and started my lean, okay? Because I was quite upset about it. And I know exactly what she's doing. They're looking for your signatures because they need you to survive. They need you to live. They've been living off of you your whole entire life. They've been violating you your whole entire life. This is why they want to apologize, but it's a fake apology because they continue to call you out your name. They continue not to give you recognition as to the nation that gave them standing and status at Morocco, and they call you outside of your pedigree, under a nomen, under a war name. That's what they're doing. But yet trying to say they want to apologize and also trying to say they want to give reparations. Let me continue. The second tier, because she did it in threes, with this prayer. What's the definition of a prayer? I would love to know that. I acknowledge the depth of evils that have been perpetrated against black people. Now she denationalized you. In America, from slavery to lynching to white supremacist laws, she's talking about Christian black code, y'all, to the denial of voting rights, Christian black code, y'all, to all the ways, both large and small, all of them evil, all of them wrong. For all of the oppression and all of the injustices, I apologize. Now let's circle back. She called you black. She knows you're not black. She knows you're Amor. She knows this is your flag. She knows this 5-pointed green star, which represents the 5 pentacles of love, truth, peace, and freedom. She knows that's your flag. Did she have that flying? Did she tell you we denationalized you because we wanted a status and standing that superseded you? We wanted to rule over you? Did she tell you that we've created all the corporations as a means to subject you? But keep in mind, the creation of those establishments would have never been able to occur without your agreement, regardless of if you knew what was going on or not. She did that. Her ancestors did that. But she wants to apologize for doing that while calling you the very thing that's been plaguing you, which is a black person. That's what she said. That's what she said, and all of those other Albions that are falsely trying to stay up with the fraud of so-called white American, which is why every one of you will be leaned. Every last one of you. Every last one of you. Because in order to get the subject paperwork, which we're going to be talking about, which is in production, you are going to have to do a multitude of things, and we're going to express that here. So the reparations that you think you're going to give black people that are subject to you because of the nomens that they call themselves, hell no, is right, Brandy. So what are the evils that they do? What are the evils? So she's admitting that she's admitting that her ancestors have done and continue to do injustices to you, because she admitted it in this document. She said for the supremacy, the white supremacy, that's through that so-called demo system. That's through that so-called democracy. That's through that so-called corporation claiming to be something that it's not. And because you are identifying in that, you're in ignorance as well, Asiatics that think that they're Negro colored and black and African. You're neither one of those things. You're not African. You're not a Negro. You're not colored. You're not black. You're not Puerto Rican, because today is what? The Puerto Rican, what is that called today? What's it? Puerto Rican parade? No, they don't call it the Borinquen parade. They call it the Puerto Rican parade. Just like they'll have rich poor, exactly. That's what it means. Rich Puerto Borincans, right? And the lynchings. So they're like, yeah, we was lynching y'all, we was hanging y'all, we was doing all these things to you guys so you could submit to our governing over you, and would submit to the names that we attach to you that belong to us, right? For the denial of any civil rights. Well, you are not animals, you are nobility, so you don't need civil rights. What they needed to do was follow the law. There was no need for no civil rights. It was their responsibility, still to today, to follow the laws of the land or to leave. Follow the laws of the land or you gotta go. Follow the laws of the land or you gotta go, right? But they want to sit here for denial of any civil rights, for inequalities in criminal justice. For inequalities in criminal justice or any instances of police brutality. Well, you know the criminal justice system is their human trafficking center, and you know the police departments unlawfully acting in a lawful capacity, which they are not, are those human trafficking employees meant to keep you in check by giving you fear, false information appearing to be real, so you will submit to those contracts. Because when they contact you, the first things that they ask to make sure they can violate you is if you first were in error. And how are our people first in error? By claiming a name that doesn't denote to who or what they are. So that's like if you sit here and call and say, oh, I'm Jim Smith, here's my license, registration, proof of insurance, you've proven to be a subject and under that rule. Because anybody can violate anyone when they're outside of nationality, because you are the outlaw terrorists and bandits. And the only way these types of activities in institutions can exist is because of your breach first, right? So she's admitting that there's inequalities, there's injustices, there's evil, and there's so much that they've been doing, and they continue to do. They continue to do this. This isn't like after she said it stopped. They still went to their corporation companies that they've utilized and built wealth for us, because it's not theirs, which is why you can lien them, because you're the first party secured creditor. You're this first party secured creditor, because without your blood, without your melanin, without your bloodline or your affirmation, they could not do it. Regardless if you ain't know that you were signing up for a corporation, but yet as a beneficiary executive and what's the other one, claimant, but yet you have no benefits in it because they keep it for themselves, right? Somebody posted the other day, earlier today, an Asiatic son that was a homeless individual laying on the ground, and right across the street was a family of Albions eating at a restaurant, but he was right across the street laying on the ground. They were eating at that restaurant on him laying on the ground. Without that Asiatic being a ward of the state, they wouldn't have been across the street at the restaurant eating, enjoying life. Even though the people that they have afforded that luxury, they treat like degenerates when they owe everything to them. Everything. The air they breathe, the food they eat, the wives they have, the kids that they breed. All that they owe to you, Asiatics. But they want to give you it back through reparations while still not recognizing or affirming or what's the word? Yes, recognizing, I wanted to use that your ancestors, which is you returned, which is you, are the reasons they have any level of freedom here at the North Gate. Yeah, that's what she was saying. And then the last section she said, oh, I think I read that. So what are some of the denials of opportunities? How do they deny you opportunities? What are some of the economic injustices? So let's dig into what she's saying, because there's certain things I want to read out of this book, this Nomen Substantivum book that I was talking to you about last week. I was talking to you about this book last week. It's on RV Bay Publications. Get the book. It's good for how you pick your titles of nobility and how you pick your names, because it's something in the name. It's culture that's in the name. So I'm going to be reaching out to you in this regards, but at the same time, it's in regards to them admitting that they're doing things to you. They're admitting they've done horrible things to you. They're admitting that. So what are some of the denials of opportunities? How do they deny Asiatics of opportunities? How do they do that? What are some of the ways that they deny you opportunities? They won't hire you in their corporations, well, our corporations, because the corporations exist because of our signature autographs in our stupor, let's say, for denial of opportunities. So they deny you jobs, right? That's the number one. They deny you availability to your resources. Because they need to pay home. Yes, they need to pay homage. Yep, they need to pay homage to get off and get off the land. Pay homage and get off the land, right? Because too many of you are here. A lot of you got to go. A lot. Okay? So you can't get a job. And then you have that fake fiat system on top of it, right? Because Moors, you're not supposed to be paying any fake fiat for anything that you do. When you go to get something to eat, when you go to transfer for a car, you shouldn't be paying any Federal Reserve notes for any of those things. Why are you doing it? Because they're living off of your estate while you're paying the bill. They're living off of your estate while you're paying the bill. How are you paying the bill? Your energy. You're all employed at all of these corporations as slaves because they're not paying you for anything, but yet utilizing all of your energy to the point where you could be that man on that street, that Asiatic son who lost everything Probably just because he couldn't find a job. But yet he comes from the wealthiest people of the world. He comes from the Moabitess woman, the womb man. He comes from that, but he's on the street. And then you see all of our people being thrown out. How are you stopping that, MARIANNE, Deborah, Williamson? How are any of you who sit here and talk this reparations game, how are you doing that? Did you give somebody who's walking, an Asiatic who's walking down the street, did you stop and give them their conveyance that you bought off of their credit? Did you do that? No. What did you do? Did you give them the house that you're squatting in, but you're claiming the Asiatics are squatting in their houses? No, you didn't do that. You want to give them something useless. But if you want to give something, how do you give it? How do you donate to somebody something? So if I said, I want to give you $1 million for just, what do? You give you give it. You don't talk about it. Give it. You ain't got to talk about it. You ain't got to have no meeting. You ain't got to have no reparations committee. You ain't got to do none of that. All you got to do is get up out of those houses that you in. So the Moors that are homeless, running around, got a place to stay. That's how you give back. You give them back what you stole. You give them back what you still have within your possession you know don't belong to you. So this apology, I would say it the way I want to say it, but because I have to keep it PG, I'll say was a horrible, horrible attempt. But Moors, the ones that are unconscious, they know you don't know no better. They know you think that they can actually give you something that they have. They can't do anything but step out of the way while you do what you're supposed to be doing by uplifting fallen humanity and being yourself and bringing back or being a part of your government that's already here on the land. Yes, paying electricity. They got you paying electricity, but like I said, you ain't paying nothing. You're going to those plantations to work in order to continue to live in luxury within your own land. So can she give you reparations? Would you accept her reparations? How about she just leave, take all her heirs with her, take all her family members with her? How about she do that? And that goes to all foreigners that are here violating the people. That goes to all of you. All of you. Because fiat, Federal Reserve notes, is not money. You know it's been outlawed on many occasions. But ignorance of the law is no excuse. But we're going to go. But I'm going to get off of MARIANNE, Deborah Williamson, because this is notice of intent to lien, as well as your lien has already been out and posted to the public forum. So maybe you want to stop walking around or flying around on the credit of the Moors. Maybe you want to give back all of the property that you claiming to own that you don't. And maybe you want to get all the way back out the way. Get on the boat, and all those so-called churches you're going to, take all of those Albions with you, and y'all all get on the boat. That's our reparations. You leaving the land. That's all we want. We don't want anything else. We want you to go. That's our reparations. There is nothing that you can give us because you violated every law, you violated every covenant, you violated every treaty. Islam?
Say she's running for...
She's running for the Service Corporation in 2020.
Right.
That's been bankrupt. That ain't even a service. They doing what we tell them to do, just so you know.
So part of the act is to try to get...
She wants signatures.
So-called, yeah,
She wants people to vote.
Asiatics.
She wants you Asiatics to vote in the so-called election. But guess what? Why she wants you to vote? Because she needs your signature. It ain't got nothing to do with her caring about you, because if she cared about you, and if the Albions really did care about you, they would already have moved right out the way and declared and proclaimed their allegiance as subjects to the Moroccan Empire and the Moorish American nationals, and gave back everything that they stolen and positioned themselves to areas where we need them so we can build our infrastructure. So every suburb, y'all need to move. Y'all need to move out of every place you know we coming, because we already claiming it through the repossession process. It's already been claimed through the Moorish National Republic federal government. Go look at your grids, y'all, and read your grids. All of the information is there for you to start acting in your nobility. because we're going to be living off of our estate that has been fraudulently hypothecated by the Albions, for which they've been living off of our estate and victimizing and violating the Moors. So this book was really good. Like I said, is Nomen Substantivum. Nomen Substantivum. This book is really good. It kind of proved a whole lot of points that I already knew. It just gave a little bit more recognition. And I read this one already. I'm not going to read that one. And there was a lot of information in here.
What does that mean?
Name. Nomen means name.
Another part of it, substantive.
Huh?
Substantive.
Why don't you look it up in your phone, since you right there. You got a phone right there. Look up substantium. It tells you right here. Substantium. What does substantium mean? What y'all think substantium mean? Because in Latin is not far from English, because English is a bastardized version of Latin. Let's just say that in a real sense of the word. So substantivum. Nomen substantivum. And it actually has it in here. I'm going to read it since you asked me. What is in a name? There is more in a name that meets the eye. There is more in a name than which vibrates as sounds in the ear. Name, grammatically classified, is a substantive verb derived from Old Sanskrit word namen, and that's N-A-M-A-N, and the Old Moorish Latin word nomen, that's N-O-M-E-N. The word substantive, grammatically classified, is an adjective derived from the Old Moorish Latin word substantivus and substantivum. It means of person, of nation. So name, of person, of nation. Nomen substantivum is name, of nation, of persons, that stands of or by itself. It's self-sufficient, is free from the influence, the guidance, or the control of others, with the condition of being politically free and having an independent self-existence or status, being and belonging to the substance of a thing, an essential, having an actual or real existence, not imaginary or illusionary like a nomen. Did I answer that question for you?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
What? Is this it? Generations of natural people have been and are suffering from colonial-initiated miseducation. MARIANNE Deborah Williamson knows that. Groomed by oppressive Inquisition biases and color of government. And color of government meaning something was painted to look like something that it's not. Something was painted to look like something that it's not. Her whole infrastructure in her quote-unquote home country was painted because it's color of law, color of corporation, color of status, color of whatever the hell you want to call it. She doesn't have a status. She doesn't have a standing. Her whole infrastructure, her whole family line came here to hypothecate, because they were criminals when they came, they're going to be criminals when they leave. They were criminals when they came, they're going to be criminals when they leave. They were criminals when they came, they're going to be criminals when they leave. She knows she's a criminal. Often causes displays of the insecurities. This is why we fight each other, because we insecure. Trepidation and fears. This is why we got fears. False information appearing to be real. When the subject matter of name correction is brought up, many adults are convinced that the foreign U.S. demo pseudo government is omnipotent. Unaware that only a Republican form of government was established for the United States Republic. What chance at reasoning would their children have in recognizing misrepresentation? They would have absolutely no chance, because they go to the same schools their parents went to. The U.S. demo pseudo-government persons being the source of such misrepresentations are de facto fraud, unconstitutional. MARIANNE Deborah Williamson. Other adults, being made conscious of their rights, have taken on the ambient qualities as would be displayed by young boys and girls, showing a lack of self-confidence and a voiding sense of self-authority. This so-called anomaly makes for an interesting study of mental slavery and human oppression. There was a lot of things that I wanted to read in this book, and then I'm going to go to my chart to sum it all up, as well as let you know we were given title. If a proper person status is not the case, then that person's status bears a negative burden, or no judicio standi. Judicio standi means no judicio standi, no standing at law. Judicio standi. So everybody outside of their national pedigree is judicio standi, no status at law, being the opposite of positive law and opposite of impropria persona. The name borne by a person or persons is the first legal social instrument, which indicates the status, whether positive or negative, whether de jure or de facto. So there's everything in the name. When somebody says, "What is your name?" When the last so-called surname, if it don't got L, Bay, or any of the other three titles, they automatically know you're a subject. They automatically know they own you, and they can do whatever they want because you answer to a name that is not yours. And ignorance of the law does not give anyone excuse for violating it. An attribute. Attribute is derived by Old Moorish Latin word attributum, attributium, and it relates to as qualities ascribed to any natural persons, people, or thing, being one which is in common usage and assigned to natural persons. In matters of procreation, the offspring would be given an attribute, a name, which harmoniously correlated with the sun sign in conjunction with the moon sign and the ascendant. So that's your trinity: the sun, the moon, and the ascendant. These plus family considerations, tribal affiliations, were primal cultural aggregates in conscious regard use, right? Abandonment. Let's talk about abandonment. Abandonment is a term used in law meaning the surrender of, the relinquishment of, the disclaimer of, the waiver of, or the cessation of property or of rights. A voluntary relinquishment of all rights, all titles, all claim, all possession, with the intentions of not reclaiming it, constitutes abandonment. So you abandon, you give away everything when you claim to be something you are not, and you do not declare and proclaim your nationality. I ain't reading that again because there's so much more I want to read. A nom de guerre. A nom de guerre. Islam brandy. A nom de guerre. A straw man. Constructs are used to create prima facie financial bonds and other negotiable instruments. I'm going to read that 3 times. A nom de guerre and a straw man construct are used to create prima facie financial bonds and other negotiable instruments. A nom de guerre and straw man constructs are used to create prima facie financial bonds and other negotiable instruments. I wonder if you know what the heck I just said. A nom de guerre and straw man construct, okay, are used to create bonds because people don't want to be in their national pedigree. So we will traffic you This is what the Service Corporation is saying. This is what the Albions are saying, even though they want to apologize and say, oh, I apologize. I won't give you reparations, when they know darn well your only issue is the fact that you call yourself Negro, colored, black, African American, Puerto Rican, whatever the heck else corporation you want to call yourself. They already know. If they continue, I don't care who you are. If you continue to call yourself a nom de guerre in strawman construct, you're going to allow people to create prima facie financial bonds and other negotiable instruments on your behalf because you don't want to be a man, which is either masculine or feminine energy. That smells so good. What is that?
Whitey, yams, brown rice, kale greens.
It's messing with my senses. I said I was going to start my vegan life today. I got a smoothie. Let me drink my smoothie. I ain't seen you on Tuesday. Should have brought my mama girl with me. Did you go running around the track today? Where's the video? I didn't get a video. These instruments are deceptive. Okay, goodness gracious. I'm just going, man. What? Do I really want to do it? These instruments are deceptively presented to imply a charge of abandonment of inalienable rights on the part of those whom the demos have bonded through imposed driver's licenses, marriage licenses, contracts, birth certificate bond contracts, and other deceptive nom de guerre and veiled prima facie instruments. So what is important about a nomen, a name? Everything's important about a name. Remember when they used to have these old Roman movies, right? Try to act like they were Albions when they were the Slavs. They used to have these old Albion movies, right? And I am the son of Sir Henry Servalot in the name of the family of it. When you said who you were, you made sure you talked about your daddy over there in Europe, because you know damn well over there it was a patriarchy. Mothers were Slavs. They didn't have any right, no standing, no status. They were property of the son of the Albion son. So you can say her name all you want, but don't say her name, because you go up on the auction block. You better call your daddy's name, and that's how they knew who you was, what your standing was, and could they violate you, or could they just take you and sell you or use you for as a slave over there in Europe. So everything is in the name. You didn't get this teachings in the institutions of stupidity. Ooh, really? You want me to go there, Randy? I don't know. These instruments, these nom de guerres, strawmans, names that you have that are not yours, these instruments are deceptively presented to imply a charge of abandonment. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you call yourself John Smith and you know damn well you're not John Smith, you've abandoned your birthright, your inheritance, and people can treat you and tell you to do whatever they want and take everything from you because you've abandoned it. You've abandoned it because you've abandoned your nationality, your nativity, your sovereignty. You abandoned it. You gave it away to the state, so-called corporate state. And I'm going to get there. And other ways of doing that is through the driver's license, marriage certificate, contracts, birth certificate. The word correct is derived from the old Moorish Latin word corregir, from cor, which equals calm, plus regir, meaning to set right. So to correct is to set right, to amend, to point out or mark the errors or faults in, to rebuke and to rectify an error, a fault, or a conduct. Correction. So when you do your nationality, you're correcting the error in your identity. Okay? In the cases of any and all natural peoples of Asiatic Moorish descent who have been branded and bonded by slave holding European families, occupying North America. So Marianne, Deborah Williamson, knows this about you, is doing this about you. Her whole family is profiting on your ignorance. That's why she feels comfortable to go into a church and talk about black people and African people and call herself white American and talk about she got a country. That's why she feels so comfortable doing these things. For they did not make such unnatural dishonor abandonment of their own free national names willingly. Okay, wait a minute. Let me go back a couple seconds. So the Morrisons, who had been branded and bonded by slaves holding European names, occupying North America, abandonment of rights cannot be charged without rebuttal. Abandonment of their own proper person, attributes, and names cannot justifiably be the charge. For they did not make such unnatural, dishonorable abandonments of their own free national names willingly and free from threat, duress, and coercion. The generations who descended from those held to forced servitude were mistaught, misused, misguided by occupational European slavers, sociologists, educators, religionists, politicians, and other scholars and persons cleverly claiming positions of sovereignty and thus are falsely perceived constitutional authority. I said a lot. The first remedy is truth and knowledge. The first remedy is truth and knowledge. So you got to find out who you are, you got to find out the truth, and then you got to make those rebuttals. One can always revert back to the honor of one's own mother and fathers, being oneself and bearing one free national name. So the only thing you need to do to correct the error of how you've been identifying is to stop identifying in that error and acknowledge yourself as the bloodline that you are, like I am Sharon Tracy Galbay, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, in proprio heredis, at all times and at all points in times. That is you correcting the nom de guerre, straw man, and being yourself. And therefore, you have not abandoned your estate, you stepped into it. And they're required, commanded to give it back to you. There's one part in here that blew my mind. Where is the Moroccan Empire geographically located? Northwest of Mexico, right? Northwest of Mexico. Asiatics bearing European surnames under such a circumstance constitutes color and artifice in a legal fiction. It creates a corporation because you can't exist, because it doesn't. You can't sit here and claim wards of the corporate state being classified as corporate state property are expendable for whatever profit they bear. Fraud has no statute of limitations. Natural people have no obligations to pay any fees or tax to some foreign corporate quasi-government agencies or court in order to exercise birthrights or inalienable rights secured by the Constitution. So what that is saying is that you don't have to go to the very people who denationalized you through their corporation companies. You don't have to go to them and ask for permission or a validation as to your status and standing. So to go to a corporation styled as a county of whatever so-called corporate state and say, here's I'm correcting my name here, is unnecessary. Nom de guerre and strawman constructs created on paper against them and without their knowledge, the derogatory effects of European imposing their family surnames upon the Asiatics has proven highly profitable for the beneficiaries of their debauchery. Look up the debauchery. That's a good one. Look up debauchery. Names denote identity. Identity establishes names denote to identity. Identity establishes one's status and standing with society. We've been beating that dead a lot. It references the Dred Scott case as well. So this book, like I said, this book is very, very good. I suggest you read it multiple times so you know exactly who you are. Islam? They can't tell you there's any such thing as racism because there's only one race and there's the human race. So racism doesn't exist. Racism doesn't exist. There's only one race. Racism does not exist. Racism does not exist. The human race is divided into extended families known universally as nations and nationalities. Clearly, diversity of nationality presents a jurisdiction and venue consideration before the court. All right, here's the part. I like this part because it goes a little bit deeper into it. I think it's a big part too, y'all. Consider the fact that the natural man was not presented before the Supreme Court. We're talking about the Dred Scott case. In a proper person status, but was knowingly presented in a nom de guerre. It appears that the brand was ignored in order to achieve the ultimate verdict of plaintiff in error. This is in regards to the Dred Scott case. Dred Scott was taken, he was a slave in the South, he was taken to the North by his slave master. He was taken to the North by his slave master, and because slavery was outlawed there, he appealed to the court in order to be freed because he was no longer in the South. All right, and they found him as a plaintiff in error, not because his argument wasn't just. It was because he was not arguing in his proper person. So if you're not going to argue in your proper person, you're going to be a plaintiff in error because you are, what's that word? You have no standing at law. Judicio standi? Is it standi? Judicio standi. Judicio standi. You have no standing at law. And because you have no standing at law, you can't be heard in a lawful venue under constitutional principles, which is why he was a plaintiff in error, because he called himself Dred Scott. The natural person petitioner seeking remedy before the Supreme Court was factually of Asiatic Moorish descent. The petitioner's representatives should have objected and written a writ or affidavit for correction to that effect. So at that time, he should have declared and proclaimed his nationality, is what they're trying to say. The petitioner, being a Moor by true pedigree, identity, yet litigated bearing the the European name, presentment would imply or indicate a misrepresentation of facts. One would be that the petitioner before the court was European, which he was not. Dred was presenting himself arguing as a citizen, yet in a known prima facie status fraud, claiming by name to be someone else, a European, whom he definitely was not and could never be. The natural being claiming to be Scott constitutes a misnomer, a color, a misrepresentation, etc. falsely indicated him as being a European through the pedigree surnames constituting an artifice. The petitioner was thereby committing active fraud and constructive fraud. Fraud is a crime, ignorance notwithstanding. The petitioner was, by all intents and purposes, a plaintiff in error. In retrospection, did it ever occur to the petitioner to correct or change his name back to that of his own forefathers? Nope, because he didn't know. He didn't know he was a Moorish American nationalist. And those Albions love to miseducate you so you don't know who you are and you can't stand in your nobility while they live off your virtues, which is your energy, which is your land and wealth and resources. So did Marianne Deborah Williamson really mean any of that she said? Nope. She didn't mean it. She was playing on your ignorances, Moors. Ignorance of natural name and identity, thus ignorance of law, is no excuse. So you can't sit here and be like, oh, I didn't know. No, you can't claim it. Even if somebody has a duty, like all Moorish American nationals have a duty to tell each other who they are. We have a duty to shed a little light on the mysticism of Asiatics. But at the same time, they don't even know, if you call them an Asiatic, they don't even know who you're talking to. As the din settles, the fact remains that man presented before the Supreme Court was not in honor of his own mother and father, and thus was in error of his identity and his pedigree. Under the Scott nom de guerre, he was delivered back as property into the hands of the European slaveholder J.F.A. Sanford. The European descendant in the suit won the case, having pseudo-legal bond on that living prima facie straw man construct branded as a black and African and colorably transacting business, buying and selling with the European cognomen. Ignorance is sin. Presentments before the Supreme Court that the man was a Moor and not a European, and that the Moors are original and indigenous to the land, Americans, and were not imported from any place else, then who was this man Dred Scott, really? Since the natural being branded as black, Negro, colored, etc. has no standing in law, and in error, the one natural man falsely claiming to be Dred of a European Scot bloodline. He claimed to be Dred of a European Scot bloodline, was apparently and legally in a state of civil mortuus, which means dead in the eyes of law. Again, we ask, what is in a name? Your very salvation is in a name. So you might want to claim your name. And I wanted to read an excerpt out of King Alfred's Executive Order 11490, and it's it was a preliminary memo, Department of Defense, and it said this. This memo is being submitted in lieu of full report from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That report is now in preparation. There will be many cities where the minorities, which are the black people that identify in that misnomer, will be able to put in the streets a superior number of people with a desperate and dangerous will. Why would they have to do that? Because y'all eating all their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and y'all ain't giving them none. He will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent by heritage and knows that the political asylums will not be afforded to him outside of in other countries. So he's bound to the continent. Who's bound to the continent? People who are from that continent? By heritage and bloodline. The key phrase here is for he is bound to the continent by heritage. The continent is America. Heritage means property that descends to an heir. Heritage means property that ascends to an heir. Something transmitted by or acquired from a predecessor, a legacy, your ancestors, the Moabites. Something possessed as a result of one's natural situation or birth, the Stargate you came from, such as the nation's birthright. So what is the free national name? Much more than meets the eye. So I'm going to go fast forward. Because you have international protections, reparation is another. Exactly, Brandy. Exactly.
Question. What was that from? Rex 84 plan or the King Alfred plan?
That was from, well, they name it the same. Rex 84, King Alfred. So, wait a minute. It's King Alfred. King Alfred.
Yes.
And for those of you who get court order name changes, I'm going to read this for y'all. One should be keenly aware of what occurs politically, economically, and in matters of jurisdiction if one petitions a court for a name correction. First, be aware of the fact that original jurisdiction does not reside with the courts. One, we're talking corporations, just so you know, corporations. A court order, a corporation court order is a revenue-raising opportunity and affirmation option instituted by the state by raising revenues by placing a court fee on a pre-existing right which already resides inalienably with the natural person. However, a court order in such an instance of name correction is only a formal confirmation of what already is right in fact. A court order also gives or transfers to the offices of that court a jurisdiction in a private common law matter that is already confirmed as a right sufficient and not a mere privilege. Know the difference between a right and that of a constitutional or taxable privilege. Indeed, In New York State Republic, the organic territory, as in most states in the United States Republic, the courts have held that the law of the land is the judicial or court method of changing one's name is merely an affirmance in aid of the common law method of accomplishing the same. Meaning, you don't need to go to those venues to accomplish any name correction because they don't have any authority, and it's just a notification. But we know they are corporations. So to go there for permission is to go there to contract. In other words, one is made cognizant of the fact that the inalienable rights of the people supersede the government erected by the people, because government is what? The people. Government is subordinate to the people and should always be viewed from that perspective. So if government is subordinate to people, why the heck would you be going to, why would they be sitting here just unilaterally deciding things for you and y'all agreeing to them? You have a choice whether or not to agree or not to agree. So if they put a traffic signal here and say slow down, because you are the government, because you are the people, and your proper person can speed through and no one can molest you, because it's a privilege to stop there if you want, but you're not required to, because the people are sovereign, not governments. The governments get their sovereign from the people, which make up the government.
Sorry.
A straw man is actually a counterfeit, a sham, a dummy, an imaginary adversary, or an invented adverse agreement, adduced in order to be triumphantly refuted. A straw man is a fake deliberately presented as a, what you laughing at? The bug keep messing with you? What? That bird, it bumped into you? I know. They be like, this is my spot. They be like, this is my spot. Strawman prosecutions have been used to steal the birthrights of Aboriginal, and indigenous peoples of America. Right? This is the general standard and method of presenting the straw man argument, Islam, before the corporation. When I say corporation, I mean courts. Corporation courts. First, the corporate state agent, which is that so-called attorney or unchallenged accuser, presents his or her thesis. After they present his or her thesis, the main opposing opposition, an argument. So they present their thesis, their argument, prepare refutations of the opposing argument, and then positive arguments to the main, right? Keep in mind that these are usually presented before a corporation, absence of constitutional due process protections, with the intended victim's defendant's name, nomen, written in all capital letters. This affirms the presentment as a straw man before the corporation. If the colored status and prima facie straw man is not refuted or rebutted with a positive counter argument. So what would be the positive counter argument? What would be the positive counter argument? What would be the positive counter argument to the Nam Dagir? Islam, what? Islam.
We good. That's the national flag, honey. That's the national flag.
Positive counter argument. So what would be your positive counter argument when presented in a Nam Dagir? Like, because it says, what would be your counter argument? How would you argue if they presented you in a straw man artifice? How would they counter? What would be the counter? I am Sharon Tracy Galvay, Moorish American National, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, in proprio heredis, at all times and at all points in time. I am a descendant of the great pharaohs of Kemet and the Moabites and the Canaanites. I am the law, I am the government, and I command you state your name and nationality for the record on the record without further comment. You do not have jurisdiction over me, and I command you set me free, return my property, and cease and desist all actions, as this is my notice of intent to lien you, if you do not do as commanded and set me free. No U.S. citizen has jurisdiction over any Moorish American national. Islam? That is your positive counter argument. Stating the mantra is your positive counter argument. When dealing with the hypothecators who claim to be courts when they're corporations and call you under a straw man or a non-de-guerre. Because why? They said they put a bond, right? We're going to talk about that bond. In about 5 seconds, we're going to talk about that bond. The natural person is then acted upon by the courts as if the straw man fiction and violations attributed thereto are in the same being, although the one natural person is real and the other is a color. The one is real, the flesh and blood being, and one is a nom de guerre, a straw man, a nom de guerre. And you have to state the mantra. You have to state a positive counter argument to refute and rebut the accusation. These straw man acts are commonly taking place in traffic courts, which are heavily loaded with profile cases. They're done in all of those venues, not just traffic. All of those venues, they use those nom de guerres, which are bonds, to attach to that living being, so they can pay or get some more credit. There's a place that I wanted to read. Okay, here's the place. Now this is going to get into the nuts and the potatoes.
Where we at?
Huh?
Where we at? What's going to get into the nuts and potatoes?
Huh? Y'all gonna be mad at this one. Y'all gonna be mad at MARIANNE, Deborah Williamson, because she sit here trying to keep calling you out your name so she can keep eating her peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
That's what she's doing.
The present day name, misplacement, is a commission of fraud on their part. I'm gonna say it 3 times. The present day name, misplacement, is a commission of fraud on their part. The present day name placement is a commission of fraud on their part. Therefore, we don't want to bring our children into a state ward status, which constitutes nomenclature fraud and pedigree bloodline fraud. And this is what I'm going to read. This is the last part I'm going to read in this book. But like I said, get this book, research this book, because it tells you so much. It is also very, very important not to ever sign a corporate state-issued birth certificate. It is also very, very important never to sign a corporate state-issued birth certificate. The birth certificate has been traditionally used as a bond. The birth certificate has been traditionally used as a bond by the corporate state politicians. That's the lady that was just talking about she want to apologize. The lady was just talking about she want to apologize for all the stuff she's doing, but she's still doing it. She want to apologize for all the stuff she's been doing and give you reparations when this is telling you she's still doing it. The birth certificate has been traditionally used as a bond by the corporate state politicians without the knowledge of the people. As a bond, it has been utilized to place your children in debt bondage, to transfer private corporate debt against the child, as well as to generate finance revenues for the corporate state under the nom de guerre and the straw man construct. I'm going to read that one more time. The birth certificate is a bond that they've been utilizing to place your children in debt bondage and transferring the private corporate debt against the child, as well as to generate finance and revenue for the corporate state under the nom de guerre and straw man construct. So if she was to ever give you any reparations, she'd be giving your own stuff back. The administrators and representatives of the hospitals under the DeMo Union State Society jurisdiction are instructed firmly to encourage you to sign a surety bond, which is a birth certificate, social security card. Security bond is a social security certificate and security, social security and the birth certificate. Revenue raising birth certificate before leaving the hospital. A bond, a claim, and debt will be placed against your newborn child. The administrators are in conspiracy with the corporate state. Even if the individual employees may not recognize the deception, ignorance of the law is no excuse, saying, I quote, I'm just doing my job because I don't want to get fired and I ain't going to have no place to stay because I'm a ward and this is how I take care of my babies. So I'm going to keep doing this to my brothers and sisters because I need to pay my bill. They will tell you that they have to send the paperwork to the state, which only proves their collusion. And the only and don't get mad. Don't get the book. I'm gonna tell you what book it is. I already said what book it was. Nomen substantivum. Nomen substantivum. Your name. You name your child at your own will. You ain't got to do it at the time you have your child. And ancestrally, we didn't name our children till about weeks after giving birth. So they're forcing you to name your child before you leave the hospital. But many of you are already looking to pick your names of your children, but you're supposed to wait until they're born. You're supposed to wait until you birth them through your Stargate, because you're supposed to be taking certain attributes into consideration when you name your children. And you're supposed to definitely be under the title. Oh, I got the stuff if you bug beaten. You know what I'm saying? So you're supposed to be taking the moon in consideration, his or her moon sign, sun sign, ascendant, and family heritage. So these are different things you were supposed to be taking into consideration when naming your children, your heirs. And you're never supposed to be naming them as soon as you have them, because you got to do the natal chart, and you got to do some research. So it usually takes about 2 to 3 to 4 weeks before you actually know what you're going to name your child. So these are food for thought. Do I want to continue? Oh, wait a minute, this is the last part. The corporate state's birth certificate is a chattel property surety bond. The corporate state's birth certificate is a chattel property surety bond, negotiable instrument which transfers the person's inalienable rights under a ward status to the corporate state under the bond's auspices of a strong corporate privilege. So you just gave away your sovereignty and accepted their privileges while they're running around, not only with your sovereignty, but with your resources and wealth. The bondable birth certificates are deceptive, give the corporate state the authority to sign the child up for the military draft when they're of age. As soon as the child comes of age and his or her placed into the database system to be pressured, contracted by the DeMo Union State Society. This is why the military personnel appear at the public schools around the time your children are of age, since the child is already filed as a straw man on corporate property. Only you are to name and record the birth record of your child. Only you are to record the birth record of your natural birth of your child. That document is in the file section of the Moorish American Consulate Northeast Group, and it's called a certificate of law. No, it's not called, I'm sorry. It's called a allodial, affidavit of allodial live birth record. Affidavit of allodial live birth record. The number of the affidavit is MACN-A007. MACN-A007. So that is the document you put on the public record to the birth of your child. You never fill out a surety bond. Islam. You never file a surety bond, and you never file a birth or Social Security, because you just created a debt for your child. And that's the contract, mother, and that's the sin mother has to get you out of. That's the sin mother placed you in. The sin mother placed you in was the signing of that birth certificate and that Social Security card. So, MACN-A007 is the affidavit to file your certificate of live birth on all of your children and yourselves, because right now you got certificates of death. So you have to do those. Islam light. The state franchise hospitals will certify a surety bond, birth on your child, and then the state records it in the county recorders as a corporate entity and a straw man. By doing so, they are certifying and recording your child as corporate property. And that's how the slavery really starts. You gave your child away. You not only abandoned your estate, you abandoned their estate. You left them as a ward of the corporate state where they only have privileges, and they are being forced into a lot of these contractual obligations because of their ignorance, while they're transferring their wealth and resources and credit to the very people who are violating them. So I ask you again, did MARIANNE Deborah Williamson do anything when she said all of those things that she said, trying to appeal to the natural beings, when she and her children, ancestors, are the very reasons they even have to give reparations to begin with. But the reparations that we accept is their expatriation, their deportation, or them accepting subject status here at Morocco. Because to be here, you'll either be a Moor or you'll be a subject. Moor or subject. Moor or subject. And we're working on those papers right now. Do y'all want me to read her apology again? Do I need to did I beat that to death? I think I did. I beat it to death, right? I think I did. I banged them bones till it was bleeding. Bang that ass. Yeah, I know. I did it. Oh, Light, I don't know if you've been here, but look, we got our, even though this is backwards, I know it's backwards, we got our Surety and Peace Officer shirts. We got our Surety and Peace Officer shirts, y'all. We got our Surety and Peace Officer shirts. So those have started, because whether or not you want to or not, you gonna get your ass off our land, and you gonna stop violating our heirs and our people and our wealth and our resources, and you gonna apologize accurately and appropriately. You're going to acknowledge this said government if you want to remain here as subjects. And I have the preliminary, love it too, I have the preliminary to the subject documents for all you people who come from them Albion Stargates, all you people who come from them Albion Stargates, I'm gonna say this again, all you people who come from them Albion Stargates, those wombs, because they ain't Stargates, let me rephrase that, all you people who come from them Albion wombs, you gotta do subject paperwork. And I'm gonna just go over it. We're still working out the kinks. We're still working out the kinks as the judiciary, but it's already here, and I'm going to read it to you so you know. It's not long, even though Tiger would make stuff 20 pages long because he just let her talk and let her write. I think he just let her write. Let me go find it. If there's any questions, now's the time to ask. Even though I bought this book, I carried this damn book, this damn board, and I ain't put nothing on it yet, y'all. Ain't that crazy? I bought the board and ain't put nothing on it yet. Alright. So here, let me go to my inbox, because I sent it to the judiciary team for a vote. Which box am I trying to go into? I don't know. I don't like. Oh, let me go in sent. Because it should be the very last thing I sent. No, that was me. Okay, let me see. Nope, that's not it. Is that it? Where did I send it? Is this it? Nope, that ain't it. What is that? Nope, that ain't it. Is this it? Nope. Alright, look. I sent that many emails? I didn't know I sent that many emails. Why can't I ever find what I'm looking for, what I'm wanting? Is this it? Oh my God. Where's the document? Light, send me the document. Light, send me the document. I want to read the subject repatriation document. Did I send it to you, right? You got it? Why can't I ever find nothing in Google? Y'all, Google, you about to get lean by sharing, because I'm about to do a personal lean on you. You don't stop hiding stuff in my damn share files. Extraction part 2. No, that ain't it. I just did. Damn, this is old. Why me? Oh, I'm in the wrong email. Sorry. Alright, let me go to sent. Is this it? No. Oh, I found it. This document is going to be MAC affidavit number 444. It's going to be MAC affidavit number 444. So it's going to be MACN-A followed by 3 4s. So this is, it's 2 of them up here. It's still in production. We're almost done. And there's going to be some things, and y'all got to tell us what y'all want. Y'all got to tell us, because you know we are a republic, and we want to know what the moles want. Those are the ones that are declared and proclaimed their nationality. Those are the ones we talking about. Not y'all still over there in the sandbox figuring it out. Islam, I love you all. I really do. Y'all get on my nerves though. Stop calling me all the time and asking me, sending me Islam light. Stop calling me all the time, asking me basic questions like, where's the 8 locations? Ask me that question. I'm going to just say bye, Felicia. When I say bye, Felicia, in a text message, don't get mad. Just go do the research, because it's already a form that says 8 locations in the file sections. So don't be sending me no text message, Sharon, I can't find this form. Well, I can't find it either. I'm just saying, y'all gotta get comfortable with reading. I know it's hard, because when you start reading, especially if you're laying down on the couch, you start reading, you be like this. You be like, I'm going to sleep. At the beginning, I used to do that all the time. I'd be like, I can't read past a damn paragraph. As soon as I read a paragraph, I'm going to sleep. Don't lay down and do it. That's what I can say. Don't lay down and try to read. Go to the park, go to a bench, go someplace where you're going to stay awake. But don't try to read in bed, because you ain't going to get nothing read. All right. The subject documents for all those births through a Albion womb. This is the affidavit of affirmation of allegiance to the Moorish National Republic Federal Government. It's listed under MACN-A 444. And again, it is the affidavit of affirmation of allegiance to the Moorish National Republic Federal Government. All you Albions that are here illegally, you're gonna need these in your wallet. Because those passports are subject paperwork of a corporate, they are nom de guerres. Those are nom de guerre straw man documents. It's gonna say, I'm gonna act like I'm John Smith, but y'all know I'm Sharon Tracy Galbay, Moorish American National, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, in proprio heredis at all times and at all points in time. But I'm just doing this for, no, we're gonna use Marianne Deborah Williamson. Marianne Deborah Williamson, we're going to use her. You know, that it don't even matter. Like, I ain't saying it now, because it don't matter. If you were birthed through a Albion Stargate, you need this paperwork. I'm not making no concessions. Y'all know who y'all are. Y'all better be yourselves. That's all I got to say. You come from an Albion Stargate, this is what you got to do. No matter the descendability of the father, because contrary to proper belief, mothers are the creators, not fathers. Affidavit of affirmation of allegiance of the Moorish National Republic Federal Government. Like you think you're funny. Like you think you're funny.
Let's pay tribute.
Marianne Williamson. She's gonna be the little sample. Marianne Williamson gonna be the sample, y'all. Marianne Deborah Williamson. I, Marianne Deborah Williamson, hereby declare and affirm that I absolutely and entirely renounce and adjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, sovereignty, or corporation of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or a citizen. That I, Marianne Deborah Williamson, will support and defend the supreme laws of the land, to include the Declaration of Independence of 1776, Articles of Confederation of 1777, Constitution for the United States of America of 1789, 1791, Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1787 and 1836, and all affidavits and commands of the Moorish National Republic Federal Government and the Moorish American National. against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I, MARIANNE Deborah Williamson, will bear arms, this may be changed, on behalf of the Moroccan Empire, because I don't think we want y'all with no guns. I'm sorry. Y'all ain't gonna have none. So that's gonna be changed, tweaked just a little bit. When commanded by Muslim law, that I, MARIANNE Deborah Williamson, will perform non-combative services in the armed forces of the Moorish Empire with command, when commanded by the Muslim law, that I will perform work of national importance under Surety peace officer direction, when commanded by Muslim law, and that I take that obligation freely without any mental reservations or purpose or evasions. So help me Allah. So help me Allah. So help me Allah. Now, there was a box that we're debating on adding, which is the debtor's references to the Biblios Helios tech. I'm going to say those, but I'm going to say the conditions next, because there are conditions. The conditions are to include 21 pieces of lawful money, gold and silver, per subject. So if you got 20 children, yeah, that's 21 times 21. Okay? 21 times 21. 21 times 21. Their straw man and corporations will be liened and all property revenued back to the American nationals through the Moorish National Republic federal government and the Moorish American nationals. Did y'all hear what I just said?
All property is returned back to the Moorish American nationals.
So y'all heard it. I'm gonna have this done soon. Not yet, but soon.
That sounds good.
Now here's the debtor references in the Biblios Helios tech. Let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. For whomever loves others has fulfilled the law. Romans 13:8. The wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously. Psalms 37:21. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, respect. If honor, honor. Romans 13:7. Give to everyone who asks you, and if anyone takes what belongs to you, do not demand it back. Luke 6:30. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? Luke 14:28. For the Lord your God will bless you as he has promised, and you will lend to many nations, but you will borrow from none. You will rule over many nations, but none will rule over you. Deuteronomy 15:6. Lord is in a place of law, y'all. Lord means law. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Matthew 6:12. Keep your lives free from the love of money. Oh my God. And be content with what you have, because God has said, never will I leave you and never will I forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is your power to act. Proverbs 3:27. That's in regards to that person that was like laying down on the street, hungry across the street, and those people just eating across the street. Yeah, you probably should have sent them a sandwich, just a sandwich at least. You probably should have gave them one. No one can serve two masters. Oh my God. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Matthew 6:24. And I'm going to leave you to look up Matthews 11:11. I'm going to leave you to look up Matthews. No, not Matthews. Jeremiah 11:11. Look up Jeremiah 11:11. Pax it more. What else we talking about? I hear her. I think I said a lot. What time is it?
cover a lot.
I'm gonna have to watch that again. It's 3:27. Was that? Damn, it was 2 hours. That was 2 hours.
Banging a couple hours now.
I said a lot. So you know what a birth certificate and a social security. What? What you say, babe?
We're not going to hear them. They're going to be crying for help. We ain't here. What?
Give it to me. I can read it out loud. Jeremiah 11:11. I keep telling y'all, y'all want Jeremiah 11:11 to come to pass. I'm just saying. Oh shit. Jeremiah 11:11, as translated into English in the King James Bible. Therefore, thus saith the law, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. So keep violating the law and see if anybody hear you when them bones is bleeding. Anybody ready to say the mantra before we leave? Which is your positive affirmation as to the rebuttal of that straw man nom de guerre. You can read whatever mantra you want to read.
Oh. I'll say the new mantra. The new mantra.
You want to say the mantra? Let's see. Come on. Don't hide. Don't hide. Come on, both of you. You and Tep 2 say it together. The mantra. Come on, Tep 2. You tired from that run? Come on, Tahir.
I am Tahir.
Stand up as the more bright son you are. You better stand up with your hand over your heart. You ain't gonna do it.
Appropriate persona su George, appropriate solo, and appropriate credits at all times. I am a descendant of the great pharaohs of Kemet, and of the Moabites and Canaanites. I am the law, I am the government. And I have jurisdiction over me. You are commanded to state your name and nationality on the record, for the record without further comment. I am the law, I am the government. You are commanded to set me free, return my property, cease and desist from all actions against me. This is my notice of intent to lend you if you not do as commanded to set me free. No United States citizen has jurisdiction over any and all Moorish American nationals at Morocco, Northwest of Mexico. Reduce the bond for the record and on the record to a whole 300 so I can satisfy. Otherwise, set me free. Notice the agent, notice the principal, notice the principal, notice the agent. I do not stand as a security for the false debt Jesuit order, being the United States Corporation and its franchised municipalities and corporation businesses, public version.
Hold that up. Show them the shirt. Now you'll see it appropriately.
We're here, y'all. We're here. We're here.
It's in the angle. There you go.
It's long.
No, turn this way. Turn this way.
It's long. All right, who's gonna say the mantra next? Aneb, are we gonna finally get you to do the mantra? Can't take him, man. He got so much to say on the phone, y'all. Who else gonna say the mantra? I done said it, so two of us already done said it. Fatima? No? No Fatima? It's long. I ain't messing with y'all. Look at it. Look at that Albion right there, y'all.
Body maker. Body maker.
He's sitting over there chilling, right? Chillacking. It's lawnmowers. We gonna get out of here. We're done. 2 hours. We did 2 hours, and now we get to chill. We get to chill. We get to chill. But like I said, get your grids done. Get your grids done, cause the only way Mo's is gonna be living off their estate is if their grids is done.
I got a question about the grid.
Get your grids done. Only Mo's who get their grid done is gonna know how, one, to live off their estate. Get your grids done, Mo's. Don't call me about sharing. I can't find this in the file section. It's there. You better go look. Sharon. What are the 8 locations? Bye, Felicia. Sharon. I mean, y'all ask me so many damn questions. I be like, really? Nobody has a question right now to ask. What you need, baby? Oh, wait a minute. Let me promote. Go ahead, put some stuff. Go ahead. Let me promote Cordoba Botanics. It is Cordoba I said Botanics. Cordoba Organics. Cordoba Organics. I use this product all the time. Okay, I get it at least once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This right here is called Halt. It's natural based, natural oil based, and I know you can see this in the reverse. But let me put it on the other side so y'all can see it. Maybe you can hold it and put it in. You gonna put it in your camera, just your camera? He is such an opportunist. Put it there. This is, you gotta show the right side. There you go. Cordoba Organics, Halt, Islam. Oops. Thank you. This is some very good organic cream that I use for bugs, and I get it from a lovely Selena. She is the merchant that is the owner of Cordoba Organics, and I get this. I get the face mask. I get there's this rose lotion, and I love it, and I love it, and I love it, and I love it. And so I'm going to promote, because we need to be unifying and using natural products as opposed to a lot of these horrible. Do you need some? He just squatted a bug. But I use this when I go and when I do lawn work. Not necessarily just lawn work. When I do farming in my backyard. When I do farming in my backyard, I put this on before I go out there, and I don't ever have to worry about no bugs messing with me. And you know, when you were doing your tomatoes and your cucumbers, there's bugs all over that place. Plus, the natural repellent that you want to put on your harvest is nettle. Is it nettle? Neem oil. It's neem oil. You spray the neem oil on your plants, and you ain't got to worry about bugs eating your plants. Because I know somebody had got all their stuff eaten out. I forgot. Oh, my sister. My sister got all her stuff, I think it was collard greens eaten out. But you got to put the neem oil, and you got to get your Halt. Islam, packs up to more. Peace and love. Know the mantra. State the mantra. Only state the mantra. Because they're trying to hold you as security on the bonds, and we just talked about how they're doing that through that birth certificate and that social security card, that corporation that they established, and they created bonds, those T-bonds, through that stock exchange, and they're selling, and they were at one point selling them all over the world, which is why you cancel those. That's why you cancel all of those. That's why you do the termination of contracts, so they can no longer move things, because they all were based on you as the heirs to the estate, because you are the first party secured creditor. So you have to do those things. And the grid is your step from subjugation, mental, because it's all mental really, to freedom and how to live through your estate. Many people are claiming to be doing that, but if you're charging Federal Reserve notes, you ain't living through no estate, because you wouldn't even need to do it, because you'd be living through your estate. There'd be no point in charging fiat if you're living through your estate. But we're getting there really fast. So corporations that you utilize for resources, Giant Food Store, Acme Food Store, BJ's, Walmart, Costco's, all of the corporations that you utilize for resources, y'all, we need to be doing those liens and getting those liens done now. So you need to make sure you have a list of the things of the corporations that you utilize right now through those fake fiat, because you're going to lien those corporations, and it's going to build to the process of moving as the heirs that you are allodially through your estate. Islam, packs out to more, and get this book. Get this book from RB Bay Publications. Get this book, Nomen Substantivum. Nomen Substantivum. Get that book. Get that book. Read it. It's only 5 notes on RB Bay Publications. Get the book, read it, dissect it, and continue your research and your liberation outside of similar mortus. Packs out to more. Peace and love.
Before we close that,
yes.
A question on the grid concerning when they all get mailed out. Suppose one doesn't come back, like the Treasury.
What you mean?
You have to resend the national possession papers to them.
What?
The green cards, though. I got everything back except.
But you got to track it. And
got
you
the
gotta
tracking
go.
receipt.
And you gotta go to the website. If you don't get certain receipts back because they are human traffickers and that's all they've ever been doing, and because they're human traffickers and that's all they've ever been doing, there is things that are happening with the mail, the moving of the mail, the fraud that's going on with the mail service. So they may throw it away. They may do a lot of things. That's why you have the certified return receipt tracking information on the documents. That's why you put it in the body of the document. As well as, that's why you save your copy, because you can go onto the website and download when they received it. Because receipt is acknowledgement.
Go to the post office, have them print it
As
up.
well as I hear a lot of Moors talk about their stuff get returned. They open it and then they return it. You don't care what they do with the documents, Moors. You're just letting them know you are no longer going to stand as surety for their debt. You're no longer outside of alignment. You're no longer judicio standi. You're no longer outside of law. You're going to now you haven't abandoned, you haven't waived, you're refuted, or I'm sorry, rebutted their claims to any and everything. So, what do you prefer, Moors? Conscious or not? Would you rather have reparations, or would you just rather them give you your stuff back? Because what's reparations? What they gonna give you? More fiat? They ain't got no money. What they gonna give you? They broke. They ain't got no money. Slaves can't have money. But if they want this subject paper, they better come back with some gold and silver. They better come with some gold and silver. And the straw man liens on them, as well as their corporations that they have, as well as their homes or the places that they're currently squatting in. So we don't need nothing, no reparations from individuals who continue to call you Negro, colored, black, and continue to try to hypothecate white in American statuses that they do not possess. Islam? Pax at the more, peace and love, y'all. Is that it? We good? So we're gonna go walk down to the Avenue of the Arts and watch and I'm gonna take a picture of all those flags, y'all, or banners, because only nations have flags. But they got the Moroccan flag like all the way in the middle. It's at the intersection of, what's the intersection? I can't remember. But we're gonna take a picture and y'all name the flag. Y'all it's gonna be name the flag or the banner. If it's a banner, you gotta say it's a banner. If it's a flag, which means the nation is repping that, not no nom de guerres. Gotta be a nation. We're gonna do that later today. This individual looks so freaking familiar. He's supposed to be doing our astrological calendar and he ain't get it done yet. He thought I didn't know who he was. It took a minute. I gave him all my information. I'm like, do the calendar so we know where the moon is, the stars are. Gave him all this information, he didn't get it done. I'm gonna show you who he is. Where he at? You know, I like to put people on blast. Look, come on, baby. He's a Moor. He needs to put his public notification. Islam moves. So I hear you're such a scaredy cat. I'll put it back on you. I'm gonna put it back on you while I talk your junk. Pax at the more, y'all. Peace and love. Deuces. We're gonna leave with the mantra. You gotta know the mantra, y'all. We're gonna leave with the mantra. You gotta know it. You gotta breathe it. You gotta know it so bad. You gotta know it so well that when you say it, you don't even know what you're saying. You be like, damn, I said that. It didn't even mess it up. Because you've practiced that much. Practice. I am Sharon Tracy Galbay, a Moorish American national, in proprio persona, sui juris, in proprio solo, in proprio heredis, at all times and at all points in time. I am a descendant of the great pharaohs of Kemet and the Moabites and the Canaanites. I am the law. I am the government, and I command you state your name and nationality for the record on the record without any further comments. You do not have any jurisdiction over me, and I command you set me free, return my property, cease and desist all actions against me, as this is my notice of intent to lien you if you do not do as commanded, and take and set me free. Notice the agent is notice the principal, notice the principal is notice the agent. No United States citizen has jurisdiction over any Moorish American national, and to even claim to be a United States citizen is a violation of 18 U.S.C. 911. 18 U.S.C. 911. Do we want to say what 18 U.S.C. 911 is? I should have it saved by now. I'm sure I have it. I'm going to read when you want to claim to be something you're not. It's all about nom de guerre. Nom de guerre. Nom de guerre. 18 USC 9/11. I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna read that. Whomever falsely and willfully represents himself to be a citizen of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned no more than 3 years or both. So let's say, because you're claiming to be a U.S. citizen, once you cannot be, they waiting to cash in on that till you do something, and then they go sit here and be like, oh, you got some tickets. We got some tickets. There's a lot more. Pax et amor. Y'all have a great day. Peace and love. Pax et amor. Gracias. Happy Borinquen Day. Peace and love.